Good morning. If you're a replay viewer, thank you so much for stopping by and replaying. We're Hamaji, a nonprofit organization out of Houston, Texas, who supports family caregivers who are supporting their loved ones who are on a journey to mental health and mental health management. We had our meditation moment this morning, so if you'd like, you can go over to our Periscope profile and click on the view the broadcast link, and you can pull up the meditation broadcast from this morning. If you enjoy meditating, it's really a great tool. If you're not able to get out and go and meditate, it's a very enjoyable time to be able to do so just at sunrise, as we do every Saturday, so you can catch us here. It's normally about 6:30, depending on what time sunrise is. But once again, I want to thank you for joining. I'm going to try and turn the camera around here and see if we can get started. Today's topic, we have what to do when you don't have support. Let's see, did we get it turned around? Yeah. Okay, so I really can't see the screen because of the sunlight. So if you guys ask questions, when you go on Android, if you swipe up, you'll be able to say share with followers. You can click the link share with Twitter, and you can backspace and take everything out, and then you can add us. That's at Hamaji. And then you can put a question there if you have a question or some input, and then I can cover it from that vantage point later on another broadcast, and then it'll be easier to answer your questions that way. As I said, I have the sun on me, so I can't see the screen very well, and so I'd rather be able to get your questions and be able to answer them thoroughly. Let me see if I can, nope, it's not working either. Okay. This morning, the topic is what to do when you don't have support. A lot of members within the mental health community do not have the support of family members because of the different stigmas that are attached to those who are battling mental illnesses. And so there are lots of stigmas that are attached to mental health, because people don't really understand mental health, and that it's not just a pretend illness. It's really a physical illness as well as a mental illness, and it's a brain illness. And so people don't have enough information, and when people don't have enough information, they're not able to make better choices. They're not able to have a full understanding and empathy of what others are experiencing. And so many within the mental health community suffer in silence. They don't go out and seek help because of the fear of what people may think, or how people may react if they know that they're battling an illness such as mental illness. So when you have people who are afraid to come out into the open and to reveal that they have the illness, well, what happens is they suffer. They stay home. They self-medicate. That could be through using alcohol, illegal drugs, sometimes prescription medications, food. There are many different ways in which people choose to self-medicate. So self-medicating means they have an issue, they're struggling with either depression, they're struggling with bipolar disorder, or eating disorder, borderline personality disorder, dissociative disorder. There's some illness that they're struggling with that they're unable to address fully. And so they're turning to other things and other methods to cope with that. And so what studies have found is that people who do have support, people who do have a family circle around them, or a circle of friends around them that they can depend upon in the event that they're not doing well. They can go to them and say, hey, you know, I'm not doing so well today. Or someone to call and check on them when they've been missing in action and no one's seen them or talked to them, and they've pretty much encased themselves in their homes or their dorm rooms, or just basically not seeking help. I'm sorry, I'm enjoying, I'll turn it around so you can see. There's a dog and a gentleman enjoying a swim this morning. I just love the beach. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get distracted. And so when people don't have support and they don't have a family or a group of friends or a team around them, it's very difficult for them to make this journey alone, because a lot of times they lack the motivation, and they lack the ability to feel well. Because as I mentioned, sometimes with mental illness there are physical symptoms, or you experience physical ailments in addition to that. As in depression, you can experience fatigue. You can either be extremely sleepy all the time, or you can be never be able to go to sleep, or suffer from insomnia. And there's also the pain that goes with being depressed. There's back pain. There's pain that you can't figure out why you're in pain. Those are some of the symptoms that your doctor could use to be able to diagnose you with depression or other illnesses. And I speak more on depression and bipolar disorder because I have more information and background on that, because I myself am a depression and anxiety survivor, and my son, who I was a full-time caregiver for, battled bipolar disorder and schizoaffective disorder. So I can speak from a place of knowing and those places. And as I always I don't always mention it, but I like to mention I'm not a professional, but I am an experienced caregiver. So I'm more of a peer support. I've actually lived that life. So going back to the support for those who are battling mental illnesses, that's why it's important for us as a community, a society, to put our eyes on of compassion for others who are around us, who may be going through some things that they can't talk about, or suffering in silence. And we live in a microwave time right now where everything moves at the speed of light. And so people aren't taking the time to stop. I mean, if you can walk into a better example is right here on the beach. I've come to the beach and there have been people with their families, and everyone is sitting down on their blanket and they're involved in their phones or their tablets. So we kind of, our heads are down all the time now, so we're not paying attention to our surroundings and things that are going on around us. And so it's very easy to miss some signs, even with our own loved ones. That's why you see people who get into trouble, or I'm very careful about how I address social issues, because I feel very passionate about it, and it can be communicated the wrong way, and we don't have enough time to deal with that here today. That's for another scope topic. But when people get ill and it becomes extreme, and then family members say, well, I never knew so-and-so was struggling. I never knew they had a problem. Well, if so-and-so's missing and they're not showing up at events, and you call and you're not getting an answer, and you text and you're not getting an answer, that's really a clear indicator that so-and-so is having an issue. So as family members, as a society, it is our duty to look in on those who may not be doing well, and not command of them to just get over it. People deal with trauma, disappointments, heartache, loss in their lives much differently than we ourselves do. So we can't put them in a box and say, well, you know what? Didn't that happen XYZ time ago? shouldn't you be over that by now? You know, can't you get past this now? I mean, really, you're milking this, right? That's not something we want to be telling our friends and family members or neighbors or church members, that you should just have gotten over it by now. It's a little more complex than that. And so the purpose of this scope today was to address those who are out there in the mental health community and those family caregivers who are out there who may not have the support of family members, who may not have support of their clergy, their religious leaders. They may not have support of the professional psych team that they are seeing in the case of a person who's battling the illness, and of the professional psych team that the family caregiver is trying to work and coordinate better care for their loved one with. So in those instances, I always talk about our spiritual, the spiritual factor in your health recovery, mental health recovery. And I don't push my beliefs on others. I'm not a religious fanatic. I am a believer in God. And religion has its place, but for me, it's all about relationship. And so regardless to, you know, what your beliefs are, there has to be a spiritual element of your recovery. You have to be able to meditate. You have to be able to talk to your Creator. If you have no one to speak to and you have nothing to base your faith on, that is going to be a very difficult and very hard struggle. You have to be able to have a place to come back to ground yourself, to be able to say, I have someone who loves me, who cares about me, and who is concerned about my well-being, even when there's no one physically there. And for me, that was my Creator. That was God. And so, in doing this scope today, I'm hoping to open the eyes of those who are outside the mental health community, who may stop by and check out our scopes and watch and want to know more. I'm also doing it for those who are in the mental health community, who are experiencing being symptomatic right now, or just having a daily struggle of trying to maintain your mental health on a daily. Or the family caregiver who's trying to support their loved one who's struggling, who may have an addiction that they're dealing with, who may not be doing well on the medication or on the treatment program that they are underneath with their psych team and their primary care physicians. It's important that you know that having that spiritual element to your mental health journey and to your journey in helping your loved one to find their peace is going to be the golden key. I'm not saying it's the end it all, but it has to be part of your toolkit and part of your journey. What is that saying? Oh, okay. What is that?